Hello. Welcome to episode 3. This is Tyler hosting with,
Me.
yes, you. Sorry, grab my book. Okay. So as always, welcome back. It's me and Justin, Tyler and Justin hosting. And we're going to talk about video games and video game related things today. And starting out with, as always, what have you been playing, Justin?
Um, oh, I've really just been playing more of, the same games, DBD and or Dead by Daylight and Overwatch 2, which I guess you can count as research for today's episode, which is not research. It's really just me, attempting to have a good time and failing because
I,
I'm playing Overwatch 2.
I think you already know enough about Overwatch that this does not count as research whatsoever.
Yeah.
So there's Dead by
After,
Daylight and Overwatch then? That sounds
yeah, I haven't really been playing anything new or trying anything recently.
so a bunch of old games.
Old games, yeah.
When did Dead by Daylight came out? Came out,
When did
yes. Come out.
I think it just did its sixth anniversary last year, I believe.
Okay, and Overwatch 2 was 6 years after the first one. So you're playing 2016, 2017 games is what I'm hearing here.
Yes.
Okay. Stuck in the past, I see.
Mm.
Well, I played some real video games, Justin. I finished Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Ah, how was
I
that?
It was pretty good. It was. I've never really played games like that, the strategy games, that type of turn-based XCOM style. Um, and I don't know if it's really close to XCOM. Obviously, I've never played it, but yeah, it took me about 10 hours. I finished it. I did not play the Donkey Kong DLC because I just don't feel like dropping $20 right now on it. And I kind of hit that point where I was like, oh, the game's done. I don't know if I really need to jump right into, another. Basically, I think there's equivalent of like half the game in the DLC, right? Another 20 levels or so. So I didn't feel the need to jump right in. I'm thinking, well, as soon as that goes on sale, I added it to my wish list. I'll pick that up and I'll jump back in at that point. Although I did pick up the sequel. I could always just jump straight to that, but I think I'd rather play the Donkey Kong first. But I just it's not one of those games I need to play back to back right now. It's probably good to take a break, play Donkey Kong later once on sale, take another break, and then jump to the sequel. But I do own it on Switch already. So, and then I put some Diablo Immortal. I have some opinions about that, but we're probably gonna skip that for tonight just because we have a lot to talk about. Overwatch 2. I bought the season pass. I've been trying to get into that. I put like a good 20 hours or so in this past week and a half since we've recorded. And of course, tonight we're talking a lot about Overwatch 2. And then I actually started yesterday. I don't think I told you this. I started cranking through God of War 2, and I'm almost to the end of that game.
Very fun.
Yeah, this isn't gonna mean anything to you. I mean this game's like 15 years old, but spoilers or whatever. I'm a little ways past getting Icarus's wings and coming back from like the underworld. So I I I'm actually using the strategy guide. I bought a book when I was traveling for work. I bought a book that has the God of War 1 and 2 strategy guides in like one little collector's book thing. And so I've actually been using a strategy guide for the first time ever. And it's fairly helpful, especially with a game that's this old where YouTube was like really young back then. I could find walkthrough stuff, but the in my experience, some of the older games like that, not that I mean this one's a little more mainstream, so they'd probably have guides, but some of the older games, the guides aren't always that great because it came out early in YouTube era. I think this game came out in like 2007 originally, so YouTube would have only been like 2 years old. But yeah, God of War 2. I'm almost done with that, and then next month I'll probably hop into Ghosts of Sparta on the PS3 because that was the next one before God of War 3. I think it was Ghost of Sparta. I don't remember. One of the PSP games. I'm still kind of mad because PlayStation Now, when it became PlayStation Plus Extreme Premium Ultra, whatever it's called, They took it out. It used to be in there, and I don't understand why they removed it. I feel like it's probably one of those things where one day or one month when they don't have a lot of titles to add to the subscription, you just, oh hey, by the way, God of War PSP remakes. It's kind of annoying to me because like they were already in there and I was going to play them, and now they're not in there, and so I have to actually hook up the PS3 to pop them in. Just a minor inconvenience, but it is what it is.
Hopefully it is worth it, even though you said it's a PSP game.
Yeah, it's they remade the PSP games in like a little HD collection for PS3, and then later they made an HD collection that included God of War 1, 2, 3, and the two PSP games. And that's the one that I have on PS3. But it's
Okay.
not in the streaming for PS3 games anymore. So now I have to actually hook up the PS3 and just play it natively. Kind of annoys me, but it's fine. I'm just a bitter old man. But then the last thing that you and I both just did, just a little background information here. We were originally recording these on Friday night, or early in the weekend, but we waited until Sunday night because we actually just kept putting this off. But we also waited because now we were able to quickly go over, maybe not quickly. We'll talk about the Last of Us show because we were able to watch the episode. We just finished watching that; just came out 2 hours ago, and now we're recording late Sunday night. So, Justin, what did you think? Also, that episode was long. It was like an hour and
It
20
was
something
very
minutes.
long.
I was like, oh, apparently this is a movie. So,
Yeah.
what did you think?
I was surprised at how much alike the game it was. It really didn't, hold back from changing a lot. Like there are subtle differences that like later on in the show might become, make a big difference. But for the first episode, like it got the prologue of the game very accurate, like frighteningly accurate to what it is.
That was really jumping out at me. It was like, they definitely added stuff like her going to get the watch right, and that was the thing that
Yeah.
happened in the game, but it wasn't. That was like before the game started, fixing the watch or whatever it was. In the game, did she buy the watch or did she just fix it?
I think she bought him a new watch.
Okay, but even then, going over to the neighbor's house and
Hmm.
then that creepy scene with the old,
Yeah.
the old lady, I was genuinely like, this is awesome, but and then the dog. Um, But outside of that, like when they were in the truck and they were going through and they see like the burning house and then they go on the highway and like I mean it was spot on to the
Yeah.
game. The my wife came out while that opening was going on and I was like, "You're about to see a grown man cry here in a minute." She's like, "I remember this. I remember you playing this." I was like, "Yep." Yeah, I think you were actually getting pretty close to. Um, I guess maybe we don't want to get into too many details just for the sake of not that anybody's listening to this, but um, I guess like yes, the game's 13 years old, so it's not really like spoilers, but also the show is brand new and a lot of people are going to experience it for the first time. So
Hmm.
maybe we won't talk about too many spoilers, but for the most part, before the time jump, extremely accurate. I'm right there with you. And I think the first part, the first 40 minutes or so, the 2003 stuff, I think that was my favorite part of the episode because the
Hmm.
second half, I mean, I knew what was going on, but like especially the middle of the episode felt really jittery. Like, oh, we cut back to this person who we haven't met yet, and then we cut to this person, and we cut to this person. It was kind of throwing me off a little bit, like how the quarantine zone was working out and everything.
Hmm.
What did you think?
Uh, I kind of agree. I think that part was less accurate to the games, but I didn't really expect those to be 100%, at least the quarantine zone area. I didn't really expect that to be perfect. I think that's the biggest change is the character Tess, everything surrounding her and what they plan on doing. Like the main plan for Joel and Tess, they didn't really talk about Joel wanting to find, Tommy in the game. Like that wasn't his main
It's true.
goal at the time. He
Yeah,
was just kind of surviving, barely, but surviving. And they had Robert, who I'm kind of glad they didn't really make a big character in that show because I think the only reason he was in that game was so you could get a tutorial to learn the
Oh, are
controls.
you talking about the beginning section where you like learn how to sneak around and everything in the
Yeah,
game? You know, I thought that was interesting because I was curious, like how they're going to start interpreting some of those video game moments where it's like, oh, the mini boss fights, or right where you're sneaking around, he kills like 15 guys. I'm like, are they going to have like a really overpowered Joel kill 15 guys? And the way they cut that together and kind of made it make more sense and a little more realistic than some dude sneaking around killing 10 guys. Yeah, I think I like that change. Um, Now they jump straight from, you know, like, oh, we're gonna hunt down this guy to immediately, oh, here's Ellie. Like,
yeah,
yeah, that transition was pretty fast. But yeah, I thought the pacing was great. I mean, the middle part, besides it being a little jumpy, and I get the quarantine zone doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So you don't need to flesh it out. I did think it was a little like, wow, you're really just, I've played the game and I barely know like what you're cutting to sometimes.
yeah. Overall, I really liked it. I have high hopes for it, unlike most video game adaptations after the first episode.
I mean, reviews say this is fantastic. Now, of course, you can take that as it is, but yeah, I'm
It
definitely
definitely helps that it's a Naughty Dog game, and 85% of the game is probably already cutscenes. So
yeah, I feel like of any game series to start interpreting is it, what did I okay, we're gonna pretend that I said the right word there. Um, of any studio or studios to start, translating to TV shows or movies, the PlayStation titles definitely. I know, having not played the new God of Wars, but I know that, a lot of them, some of their criticism is it's kind of a movie like where sometimes you're sitting down the controller and just watching. And I can't speak to that. Maybe you can, but with the God of War TV show coming up, I know they're going to start with old Kratos, but I just think that's interesting. Where I'm like, PlayStation Studios are probably the best to translate to movies and TV. Not that Uncharted was that great. I was not a fan, but
no, I hated Uncharted.
yeah, no. First episode off to a great start. The last thing I'm going to leave before we move on from that, just because we're we're recording this late and I got to go to bed some point too. Uh, the that kid in the red shirt was not expecting that one.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a bit of a shocker.
yeah, just the little subtlety, the whole like, all right, we're burning these bodies, and it's like, oh, there's that kid. Okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna give you some medicine. Then we're gonna, what did you say? What'd she say? Like, get you a snack or something like that. Get you your
get you
favorite
your
snack.
favorite food, get some
Yeah,
toys.
yeah. That oh man. But moving on, we want to talk about Overwatch 2 today because you have played a wee bit of
Just
Overwatch
a wee
2,
bit. Yeah.
just a wee bit of Overwatch 1 and 2, to be clear, uh, because the stats all transferred over, so it's basically the same game, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I never really got into Overwatch 1. I think for all the 6 years that it was live, I want to say I was at like 12 hours total, and that was after merging accounts. So because I played like maybe an hour or two on PC and then about 10 hours on Xbox, and that's really all I played. Although Overwatch, they only track your stats when you're in game, so like if you really care about queue time and looking at customization, then I don't know, 15 hours for me. I know on Xbox you have like over 1,000 in Overwatch 1
Yeah, that's probably
because
in the queue
because
times of the
issues.
first game, honestly.
Yeah, but yeah. So part of my New Year's resolution is I want to play through all the Blizzard games, and so I am going to be starting with Warcraft. At some point this month. But part of that is I started Diablo Immortal and I started playing Overwatch 2 because those are kind of ongoing games, right? Same with World of Warcraft. I haven't started that yet. But the other ones, they're ongoing games. There's something I can play over the course of the year continually. So I hopped into Overwatch 2, bought the season pass, and I think the number one thing I immediately noticed was the same thing everybody's been saying. it feels not very different, except the differences I do notice I don't really care for. I don't know how you feel about that, but I guess I didn't play enough of the game to really recognize like the meta change that is one tank versus two.
Hmm.
So I can't speak to the balance there because I just don't have that much experience. But I think the UI is fine, but not that interesting. But then there's all these things I was looking for where I'm like, oh, what's my overall level? There is no overall level. It's not a thing anymore. I was gonna look at my unlocks, right? And I didn't play a lot, so I have like nothing unlocked. Then I see all these items, and I'm like, can I just never get these anymore? Because there's no loot boxes, which is a good thing at first. But is there a way to unlock anything else? like like I understand seasonal events, right? That happened where it's like, okay, the skins came and went. They might appear again another Halloween or something, but is there not a way to unlock all these things besides grinding currency?
I think you can still get all of the old cosmetics and everything. It's just not through the game unless you spend an absurd amount of money
Right. And
or
that's
spend an absurd amount of time grinding the money for very little gain.
and like I said, I don't know how well the loot box odds were for you in the first game or anything like that. I understand that loot box is not exactly the greatest practice, but it was a way to get things that I mean that you didn't have to buy them, and it just kind of I don't. It's one of the things I don't like about the battle pass systems is you at least with loot boxes you can still unlock everything without paying. It just takes a lot of work. I don't like with battle passes where it's like if you want to unlock anything you have to pay, and then they implement a store usually. So for a lot of my experience, right, in multiplayer gaming is coming from Halo and going from Halo 5 to Halo Infinite here. And I've played Halo 3 back in the day. I was a little too young for Halo 2 online multiplayer, but for Halo 5, they had a loot box system, and that's kind of annoying and a bit of a pain. But you can grind through it and you can unlock everything. And so, like, I've cleared all of the bronze and silver loot boxes, and I just had to finish all the gold. Now, of course, I haven't done that, and Halo Infinite came out, and I'm probably never going to go back and fully unlock everything. But you could, and I think that's something that annoys me with this new battle pass system is you do get currency in the battle pass, right? No, not in the battle pass. I'm sorry. Uh, from doing the weekly challenges, you can get like 60 coins a week. So it'll take you like 20 weeks to get like a skin.
Hmm?
Because I know like the legendaries are like 950 coins, and so it takes
Yeah,
you, uh,
the
and you get,
grinding challenges is the only way to get it in game, and it takes
but
an
it,
absurd amount of time because it's like a
yeah, it
thousand
takes
gold
like
for
half a
legendary.
year to like I yes, it bothers me. I don't like that we've gone away from the ability to unlock everything to if you want to have everything, well, you got to shell out a lot of money, and at some point, it just becomes not worth it. And I don't like skins as much anymore because of that, and that just kind of bothers me.
I can see what they're trying to do. I assume they're just trying to make it more like most modern first-person shooters now, or just any game in general. Like, I don't want to use this as a good example because it's Fortnite, but I assume they're just trying to mimic what Fortnite was doing with, or what Fortnite got popular with, which is the whole battle pass and shop system, and now it's in like every game. But when you had Overwatch 1 for like 6 years, that's like 6 years worth of time where you're able to get everything just by playing the game. And now, like if you're new to the game, you just kind of have nothing. The people that already played a lot of the first game still have all the stuff, thank God. Because again, it's really just the same game. There's a little bit of an update, I guess. And they added two on the end, but I don't know. I think it's different comparing it to like Fortnite and the new, Modern Warfare is because it already had a first game where you actually could unlock things just by playing instead of, you know, spending everything in the bank or spending all your money that you have in the bank account or, stealing your mom's credit card. It's rough.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I think they didn't remove like all the skins from people that already own them. I can 100% agree there. Um, and what do you think about the battle pass in general? Like the unlocks in it and the pacing of it and everything.
Um, I don't really like the battle passes that they've given because they're for I don't want to keep bringing up Fortnite because I don't even like Fortnite that much compared to Overwatch, but Fortnite has like their skins in the battle pass, but for Overwatch you play as different heroes, so that's one skin for one hero. So if you don't play that hero or like it's in a roster or a role that you don't play because you play in a group of friends and that role's already taken, I feel like there's not a lot that you get out of it. The skins, I don't care about the quality of the skins. I guess they're not bad. They're fine. They're cool looking skins. I guess my biggest complaint is you don't get the money from the battle pass. You don't get the currency from the battle pass. There's no
Yeah.
like 50 currency when you hit like level 5 or 10, 15. None of that. It's just all like here's a spray that you can use on one character. And I don't know. I don't think it transfers over well. Or battle passes transfer over well for the game like Overwatch.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about this, but I do remember the currency thing, and I know a lot of people. If a battle pass doesn't have currency for the game, it's kind of obnoxious because I get it. A lot of games like Fortnite, right? If you buy the battle pass, you can actually play through it and then have enough currency to buy the next battle pass, or you can use it on skins. But I wasn't even thinking about that for the idea of you could get the currency to buy all the old skins that they have in the game that you cannot just acquire any other way, basically. Um, no, I my problem with the battle pass, I don't mind it. And I don't know, I don't have a lot of experience with loot boxes and how steady unlocks you would get in the previous game, but uh for the battle pass, it's just really grindy, and I just the length of it just gets on my nerves a little bit because like I'll play. I have a couple games that'll rotate through, right? Where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pop in, I'm gonna do my weekly challenges. Some games it take depends on how good you are, and if depending on the challenges as well. If there's an event going on, Halo Infinite, right? I'll hop in there if I want the weekly ultimate or whatever because I finished those battle passes already and I'm waiting for the next season. But I'll hop in there and it could take me 3 to 5 hours, right? And that's reasonable for a week's worth of gameplay. Overwatch took like 15 hours to get the weekly challenges done. And part of it's because so many of them, it's like, I'll win 15 games, right? Which is fine. It's not like those are, it's not like that's impossible or anything like that. But my problem became, well, it's also team based. And I don't have that much experience. So I'm not in competitive or anything like that. And I only play this game with you. So it's heavily dependent on teammates. And we've had teammates that are just absolute garbage when we hop on. I mean, I know they aim to reduce toxicity, and that's why they do a lot of these like UI changes and they're moving the total level and other stuff like that. But sometimes like your teammates are just hard trash, and then it's, oh, we expect you to win, and yes, there's a whole like get good, try to carry the team, etc. But at some point, like there's only so much you can do as an individual, and it takes forever, And then with like roll queue and everything, sometimes where it's like, all right, do 5 arcade games. Well, arcade games aren't as popular, right? And so I'll be playing in the middle of the day, and it's like, right, it took me 4.5 minutes to get into a match. Like,
Yeah.
and then it's like you got to win 5 of them. So it's not even just play 5 games. It's no, you could be playing, 12 because you just keep falling short. I just think they should have some more, and some of the challenges are universal. do like 100,000 damage, which sounds like a lot. It goes by moderately quickly as long as you're just playing any normal mode. Same thing with like healing damage, things like that. Like those are fairly universal in any mode, but the win 7 matches. Oh, I just dropped my pen. Win 7 matches in role queue for open, or for any role. Then win 3 games with each class, and then win 15 games, and then play this many. It's like, oh my gosh, what? Some of these aren't universal, so you just straight up like, okay, I won 7 games in this category. Let me go win 7 more in the next category. And 7 games isn't really a short amount of time. It's going to take you a while just even getting into matches sometimes. Did you have other notes on Overwatch 2?
I have a few things I could talk about.
Yeah, go ahead. What are some of your thoughts on Overwatch 2?
Well, I guess when you're talking about the tank changes that, when they removed because there's normally 2 tanks, or there was 2 tanks, and now there's only one. I think that they're trying to do is erase main tank as a whole. You know what that is, right? Like the
Sure, no, not really. It's probably good for
okay.
the people listening to explain it as well.
um, this is more like competitive stuff, but the main tank in Overwatch 1 was the one that just took, okay, this sounds stupid, but tanked a lot of damage. The
Okay,
one that main role was to, stand there and act as a shield for your team, which
so
everyone would
so
probably assume was
Reinhardt,
Reinhardt. Yeah,
yeah,
Reinhardt. And no one really liked doing that for obvious reasons. And sooner or later, the meta kind of turned that entire game into only focusing on main tanks. Like you could not win without one. And it was just a really boring role to play. That's why tank queues were absurd in Overwatch 1. Or not tank queues, DPS queues were absurd in Overwatch 1 because no one wanted to play tank. Everyone wanted to, have fun
mm,
instead of shielding while the rest of the team gets to actually do things. And that's also why they changed a lot of heroes like Reinhardt. They didn't change him too much, but they gave him the an extra fire charge, and I think his shield has less power now. And Arisa, she no longer even has a shield. She has some abilities that make her take less damage, but they gave her a spear to make her more offensive. And the tank less acts as someone that's attracting enemies and taking hits, and more of like a juggernaut in Overwatch 2, and just more like a DPS on steroids, basically.
okay,
That way, it's fun. People aren't just you know sitting there hoping that your team is putting in the work, because that also, if your DPS weren't very good and you were playing a main tank, there wasn't a lot you could do to try to help out. You weren't really encouraged to get any picks and take out any of the DPS or the supports, because it was your job to not leave your team, because your innocent Mercy will get pinned down by some random Genji halfway across the map. And I think that's why they
yeah, I have
removed
no
a lot
idea
of the
about the
stuns
meta
and
and stuff
stuff.
like that, and some of these changes. Like I like playing Arisa, and I had no idea that. All I know is Overwatch 2 Arisa. I don't know anything about like Overwatch 1, so that's hmm, yeah. No, I no, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying when it came to the tank is supposed to be a tank, but what the why it's boring, I could understand that. Um,
yeah. A lot of it's just no one wanted to play tank at that point. And off tank was the tank that was allowed to have fun, like Diva. Diva was an off tank. Diva was highly played. I played a ton of Diva, as you know.
mm,
She's like one of the only tanks that I do play. She's also absurdly easy. That's probably why I like her. But I don't know. Playing characters like Reinhardt, pre-patch Orisa, it just was not fun having to, sit there and mitigate damage and hoping that your team was able to put in the work. It was quite exhausting sooner or later.
no, this is it's on topic, but it's slightly detracting from that. Do you have any newfound or increased favoritism towards Roadhog after having listen to a panel with the Roadhog voice actor.
I want to like Roadhog because I do like his funny character and his voice actor is really cool. That was the first time I ever actually like seen the gamer. So that was a fun experience being a ginormous Overwatch fan. However, no, I hate his character in that game because right now he has a really big problem where he has like almost 700 health and then his E button heals like 300 of it. So no,
I,
not
I
right
I
now. I'm
like
not
playing
saying he's
Roadhog,
broken. I'm
but
not saying he's
okay,
broken.
okay.
I'm fine with going up against Roadhogs. But that is
Yeah,
a it's something people have been talking about with that game. The
that
fact that
Roadhog's broken.
he's just a really big tank. There's a lot of health.
He does have a lot of health, and then 500 from his yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the side note I was going off there, we went to a convention this past winter where we attended a panel with the voice actor. I am so bad I can't remember his name. I don't think you can you.
Nice.
I,
Google.
yeah, he was no Google's cheating. Um, we it was a panel with him and Roger Craig Smith, who's like the voice of Sonic and a bunch of other characters. Um, uh,
Josh Peters Petersdorf
yes,
Petersdorf.
yeah, that sounds
Yes.
correct. Um, yeah, we attended a panel listening to them too, and it was the funniest thing because we'd never that was the first panel we ever attended. And it was awesome. And yeah, there was a little bit of newfound love for at least the voice actor of Roadhog. Um, Roadhog annoys you, however, I like playing as Roadhog, so then I can tell you why. So, what
Is
else?
it
What
the
other?
absurd health?
Yeah, the
A
absurd
wild
health.
guess.
He's fairly simple. You got an
I don't
annoying
hate him. I
Pharah
do
or
like his
Mercy going
character. I think
around.
he's
You can just hook
funny.
him to you and kill him in one shot. It's nice.
Um, they also added the DPS changes to make DPS just faster and more aggressive. People just like DPS in general. It's the most played role in the first game.
I mean, it's like it's
So
feel like that's the standard one. Like when you're playing tank or when you're playing healer, you have a definitive role, but you play DPS, it's like I mean, you're playing a first person shooter, right? You're going around, you're
yeah,
killing people and trying to, yeah. I mean,
it's what people like the most.
yeah.
It's
It's
what
if you're coming from
it's
any
generally
game or
like.
just that's just like the standard first person shooter role, if I had to interpret it.
Yeah.
What else you got on Overwatch 2?
Um, I mean, this isn't important. This has nothing to do with gameplay really, but I don't even like the UI really. I think it's they changed it so that it's different, so that they can call it, a new game. You can call it Overwatch 2, but I don't know if it's very good. It sometimes it can get really clunky. I know the recent players that UI screen, it's just more confusing now. I don't know if you've ever like compared the two, if you've seen some comparisons of Overwatch 2 versus Overwatch 1, but
I thought the first one had more personality from what I remember, but it's just been a long time. Although I do the things I noticed, yes, the notices. The things I noticed the most that like annoy me were like the end game screen, right? Where you had like all the different stats and you got to vote for that, right? And I get their effort was to like remove or try to minimize toxicity, but there's no like you have the play of the game, but there's no like end game like voting for stats and all these things.
hmm
Things
yeah, the
that
cards,
I
they
do
removed
remember
those.
fondly, and yeah, I like those things, and they're just not in the game, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I was trying to look up like total, like I said earlier, total level and things like that, and I'm like, what? Why are these things gone?
Yeah, I gotta say, and pardon, because I think the reason we cannot call this podcast family friendly is because I'm in it, but the whole reducing toxicity thing is kind of bullshit in that game because they added a scoreboard there you could see everyone's stats, even on the enemy team. Like they got rid of gold medals and saying or like being on fire or something, even though the voice lines for being on fire are still in the game.
I didn't even realize that. I
Yeah,
thought the
occasionally
scoreboard
if
was
you
in the
do
first
good.
one.
No, the scoreboard is not in the first one. They only you could only check your own stats and
Hmm.
the only way to tell if you're doing the best on your team is they had like gold medals or silver medals or bronze, but you couldn't see other people's like stats or how much healing they've done or mitigation damage. That's all new, which again just confuses me. I think the gold medals were fine. I don't think that encouraged toxicity. It just made you feel, good and told you that you were doing fine. And the
So one
cards thing,
step
I feel like
forward,
that
two steps back.
helped. Yeah,
The card thing, you said it helped.
I think it because you're voting for people that did good, whether they're on the enemy team or your team. So I don't know. I'm a little confused as to why they did a lot of their changes, but
Yeah,
I sound
it's
like I hate
weird.
the game, but I I play it a lot. I don't dislike the game. I think it's really fun. It's very competitive, but it's a nice game to just sit down and chillax to. It's kind of simple if you've been
I think it's
playing it.
very competitive, and I feel like it's not an easy game to always sit down and relax to, in my
In
experience.
quick
But
play,
maybe that's because
if
I
you're
suck.
playing
So
comp, probably not competitive.
yeah, I don't know. All that to be said, yes, I'm enjoying the game, and I have every intention. I'm gonna try to get to about 150 to 200 hours this year, just to really immerse myself. I'm 60, 75. It's about 70% of the way through the battle pass. So I know there's still a couple weeks left of that. Did not partake in the first one because that was before the year, and to be honest, I had zero interest at the time. Also, I was like getting married and stuff, so
Yeah,
a little busy when that game came out. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to be playing it throughout the year. We're going to be talking about all kinds of Blizzard stuff throughout this year, so expect some other, probably a StarCraft episode or two, and definitely Diablo 4 at release and everything. But we're going to be talking about Blizzard this year because, well, that's what I'm going to be playing a lot of this year. The last thing I talked about this a week or two ago, but I'm trying to get more into esports and trying to watch them a bit more. And I know Overwatch esports were traditionally a fairly big thing until the game slowly died.
yes.
I know Overwatch League right now for next year is kind of like up in the air. Like they don't really have dates for anything announced, and I know it's going to be happening. Just how big it's going to be is kind of the question. Did you watch any Overwatch League? Or are you a fan of anything?
I I do like watching, competitive gameplay, but I don't watch a lot of esports. It's just never really been my thing. I watched more than I ever have this year with Overwatch too, but it still never really piqued my interest this time. I didn't really follow any specific teams or anything like that.
It's hard for me to want to pick a team combination of near us. There's actually like no teams. Like you go all the way to East Coast, or you got to be all the way south. Like
Toronto.
yeah, there's like yeah, or I got to go to Canada. And I'm like, well, there's nothing really like a local for us, and so picking a team is probably going to be me watching some competitive and finding a team that I like to watch and going from there. I do like Cloud9 and other esports, and the London Spitfire is more or less their representation in Overwatch, and so I kind of tentatively have that team that I'm watching. But besides that, yeah, I don't really have a team. We don't really have a local anything local for that. So yeah, it's kind of hard to be interested in like, oh, the Dallas. Uh, what is the Dallas team? I think they won last year the championship. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. There's like New York Excelsior or something like that. Who knows? Nobody knows. The internet is cheating. So, in the interest of time, we're gonna move on. All right, I feel like this is probably gonna be an hour or so, anyways. But we're gonna draft, and so this week we are gonna draft Overwatch characters, because we're talking about Overwatch. So yeah, we're gonna draft our favorite, not best, not most powerful, not a balanced team, but we're drafting our favorite characters. And the way we're gonna do this is instead of just drafting six characters just off the board, we're gonna make it Overwatch 1 style. So you get to draft two tanks, two DPS, two healers, and so I believe I went first last week. So Justin, you get the first pick, and then we'll this drafts are snake draft style, and so Justin will go
Are we gonna
first, and then I
start
have
with
two.
like a role, like tank damage support or something, or are you gonna just
You
go
can go
full
with any
rest?
category off the board. So you could,
Okay.
for example, you could go tank, and then I could do two DPS just to get them off the board, and then and so on and so forth. And you can play that to your strategy. If you're waiting for a tank, but you already knew I already picked two, then you can take it whenever and prioritize other categories.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna just snatch this one right off the board. I don't know. I don't know if you played this character, but I'm not taking any risks. But Diva was not my most played character, so it's not biased. But I'm taking Diva.
I figured I figured Diva or another character were going to be first off the board for you. Um, Diva was my number one pick for tank. That was going to be who I went for. Diva's definitely just fun to play. I don't know what else to say besides that. Like, I just you talk about her. You have more experience.
Diva is very fun to play. She's very simple. I don't think she's ever been a hard character to play. But I don't know. When I think of Overwatch, I have a lot of memories on Overwatch. So, and most of those are playing Diva and trying to get absurdly good, although it was console Overwatch, so no matter what, wasn't going to be that good. It was Xbox, kind of gross, but
Disgusting.
it is disgusting. But I like Diva a lot. Person who I played basically since the dawn of time, apparently, because I have like 200 hours on just that character. She's not my most played character, but she's my second most played character, so I'm very close.
I was going to mention this earlier. I forgot to. I was looking at your stats. I was going to write them down, and I did not do that. And then I did not take the prep time before the podcast because we're recording this late. But you were at like 700 or just about 700 hours on your career profile,
Hmm.
which is absurd. And then
Yeah.
I think you're
Yeah.
at it was either like 2,500 or 3,500 matches played, like some large, ridiculous, unhuman number. But I know people have played more than that, but that's just as an old man that wishes I had that much time. That's just absurd to me.
No. You got married. You made the wrong decision.
Yeah, kids don't get married. That's what I learned here. Well, Diva's off the board, but I have two picks. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna start with my favorite DPS because I mean he's one of the poster childs of this game, and that's Reaper. I like playing Reaper. I like the dual shotguns. I like his teleportation, being able to move around, but it's kind of a risk reward kind of thing. I mean, he's also just kind of broken sometimes. He just run in there, do a ton of damage, and then just you know shift and run away. I enjoy him. I don't know if he's like annoying, if people hate him or anything. I don't know enough about this game in general, but I like playing Reaper. He's easily a go-to.
You're so emo. You must watch too much Wednesday.
I've not watched any Wednesday.
I know. No, I think Reaper's a good pick. I hate him, but everyone else likes him.
There's a pick I could take that I feel like would annoy you because I could take your character, but they're actually not very high on my list here. Okay. All right. I'm actually just gonna go with what. Oh shoot! I wrote Reaper in the wrong spot on my board here. But I'm gonna go with probably my favorite. I wouldn't even say this is my go-to tank, but again, after after going to the convention, Roadhog is probably my favorite personality-wise. Biased just because I watched the voice actor and was crying laughing at his jokes. Yeah, no, Roadhog is probably not that hard to play either. I, maybe I'm wrong in saying that. Maybe I know it can be difficult to like snag somebody and just drop them off the map sometimes, but for the most part, he's not that difficult to play. He's really fun. He can heal himself a lot.
Yeah.
I guess with my limited experience and not having a lot of skill, especially considering I'm playing this game on PC and I have so little PC experience, this is my year of trying to get into PC gaming. Characters that require, a lot of really dedicated good aim, like Hanzo or Widow, I just I struggle with. And so like characters where it's like, oh, Reaper, he has shotguns. I like Reaper. Diva has like these shotgun turret things. I yes. Characters that are not very aim heavy, very desirable for somebody that sucks like me. So Roadhog is my second pick. And with that it goes back to you.
Okay, I'm assuming you know my second pick, and I promise you I'm not just picking people that I play, but
No, you're
my
picking your
second
favorites.
pick
So
is Kiriko. I'm assuming that was your guess. Was
oh
that your
no, it
guess?
wasn't.
Oh, wait. I don't know who you thought I'd pick as my first.
Well, Kiriko, go ahead and I don't know
Okay.
anything about the characters, those all you.
Um, she's support. I think the reason I like her the most right now, she's who I've been playing constantly. I'm trying to get good with her. I already golded her gun because I had extra points from the first game. I liked her cinematic short. Made me cry. Made me smile. It was very good. Probably better than the actual game. Uh, I don't know. When I think, oh, I lost connection to the game server. I was looking at all my stats via Overwatch 2.
Oh,
When I think of, you know, the minimal amount of good things that Overwatch 2 has done, she is one that I think of. I think she was a good addition to the game. She's a support that is not like you don't just kind of sit there and heal for 10 minutes. She's not like a heal bot character where you're encouraged to do nothing but, wait for your team to do everything and pray that they can hold up their end of the bargain while support, which it's still encouraged support. I'm not saying don't do that, but
yes, please,
with her
please
kit as a
support
whole
for you
is
people.
her kit as a whole encourages you to still kind of push in with the team, help them out, switch around. It's very mobile. And I don't know. I think she's one of the few good things that came out of Overwatch 2. So
I
that's
say
why
she's a new character too, so she's the first one. I mean, how many new characters are there? Only three
she's
total.
the new, or she was the newest character. I guess the newest one is Ramatra now. There's four now.
There's four
Junker
characters that are
Queen,
from Overwatch too. Okay.
Sojourn, Kiriko, and Ramatra.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize Sojourn was in
But
this
yeah,
game.
she was the battle pass last season,
Okay.
and I don't exactly like battle pass locked characters, but I don't know. I think of her when I think of hope for this game, and I think of Devo when I think of the first game because that's who I played a absolute shit ton the first game.
Well, there's your second pick, but you have another one. Who's your third pick here?
I'm gonna finish off the support category, and I'm gonna say Anna. Anna because she is an
Interesting.
old lady, and old ladies are funny. Actually, I think she was the first new character to be added to this game, if I'm correct. I played this game since like release, so I think she was the first character, but I don't know. I
When you say
remember
this
being
game, do you
very
mean
excited.
Overwatch One?
Yeah, oh,
Okay.
they're the same game. They're
Well, yes. Well, you said the first character of this game, but then we were talking about the first characters to Overwatch 2, so I just wanted to
yeah,
clarify.
yeah.
The
Oh, I
people that actually
remember.
play Overwatch know. I'm just the idiot that
Yeah,
doesn't know anything about the first game.
it was very exciting having a new character after, because it wasn't till a while after the game was released that she came out. I'm pretty sure. So it was very exciting, very new. She's also just a good healer overall. I probably won't pick anyone that I think is bad because bad people are kind of gross.
Gross.
Uh, yeah, that's my third pick.
Okay. Well, I have two picks now. I'm going to. Well, you have both your support characters chosen,
Yes.
so I'm going to finish off my tanks and my DPS here. I'll start with tank here. I think my second tank should be. I'll go Orisa. That's how you say it, right? Orisa.
Yeah.
Okay. I never played the character in the first one. I really didn't play a lot of tank in the first game, but as I've been exploring characters to play tank in the second game, Reinhardt's popular. A lot of people really like you when you play Reinhardt, but I've really enjoyed Orisa. I feel like I can actually tank a lot of damage with the whole turning gold, whatever that ability is. The spear is fairly offensive, and I enjoy being able to get in there. Um, and then her whole spinning the spear, being able to just absorb damage. I don't know. I like being offensive. I don't think that uh, Arisa's the best for distributing tons of damage right away. I don't. I really don't know, to be fair. But I'm just having a good time playing Risa, so I like hopping in there and yeah, being offensive, but also not dying super fast like some other tanks. Do you have anything to add on Risa? Because you again know more about this game than I do.
No, I think that's a good pick. I like Arisa. I probably wouldn't have picked her, but I do think she was a good addition to this game. She's never been like a very disliked character. She's never been broken or anything like that, not that I know of.
Well, I'm gonna take my second damage character then. I thought about this is who I thought you were gonna take, and maybe I'm just an idiot and you don't actually like this character. I was thinking about Tracer, but that's not who I'm gonna take. I assume didn't you play a lot of Tracer? Wasn't that didn't you gold
I
or get
did,
gold?
yeah, I have her golded.
Okay. I'm actually gonna take May because May is awesome. So I don't know. I mean, just again, I haven't watched any of the shorts, but like the personality of May, where it's like this like shy, intimidated like girl that has a freeze gun. I mean, it's Captain
Got a little
Cold
robot
just in
pet.
Overwatch. Yeah. No, I just like the character. I like the whole like walling off ability. Her ultimate's pretty great. I again suck at this game, but I did get a player of the game where I was able to freeze all five characters and get a whole team kill basically using her ultimate. That's not very special or rare. I understand that, but for me, as somebody that sucks, I was pretty excited. I don't know. I like May. I like the abilities. Also, again, self healing character, which really kind of helps when you're not teaming up with people and I'm not playing with you. Not relying on a healer that might not be doing anything. So get into
Yep.
a sticky situation, turn into an icicle. That's always beneficial for me. So yeah, May is going to be my fourth round pick, and now you have another two.
Okay. I'll finish off my tank one. For my pink, I'm gonna pick Winton, Gorilla, Monkey. I want him because it's a big talking gorilla. I don't really think I have to explain it too much, but he's beautiful in every way possible.
This is true.
He, in a more serious tone, he never was on like the cover like Tracer was, but
He's like the
he's who you
narrator,
would
though.
see. Yeah,
He,
he's who
he's
you'd
the one
see
that like
whenever
opens
you
the game
open the
with the
game.
cutscene. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think he's a big face of Overwatch for that reason. And again, it's a big talking monkey. Why would you not? He's just amazing creature as a whole. If you don't like him, you're a virgin. That's it. That's all I
okay,
gotta say.
okay.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I don't know where to go with that. So,
Do
what's
I
your
have
fifth
another
pick?
pick?
Yeah, you have another one. So, round five. What's your first pick here,
my
or what's your pick here?
I'm onto my DPS, so
Yeah, you got two DPS, and that's all you got. So you get one, and then I get two picks,
yeah.
and then you.
Uh, so I'm a take Genji, Gengu. Um, Genji's a pretty basic character. I think everyone under the sun has golded him. Um, I think everyone knows why, because he's a cool guy with a sword. He's a cyborg ninja. He's who everyone who starts the game, for the first time immediately clicks on because he looks cool. Most of the time, you do really bad with him when you switch to a more easy character like Soldier or something. Maybe 20 hours later you return and actually make a difference and get one kill. But I don't know. I like Genji. He's really fun to play, especially right now in Overwatch 2. It's a very dive heavy meta, I think, still. And yeah, he's never been like amazing besides from the beginning of season 1, I think. But he's a cool character, basic, fun. I think everyone kind of likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have not played any Genji, so I have no idea how he plays.
He's tricky for new people. He's not
Well,
hard, but
I'll have
he can
to
be tricky.
try it out sometime and see if I can figure him out. Well, I have
I would
two
recommend.
picks, and I only have support left. So I'm going to take the best support character, Moira, because
That is disgusting.
listen, I am not good. You know what you don't have to do with Moira?
Aim.
You don't have to aim.
Yeah, it's a point and click game when you play Moira.
Listen, it's a point and click game when you play Mercy too. Mercy's
Yeah.
not my pick next, but
Oh,
just so you're aware.
thank God.
But I don't know. I Moira has just been a combination of I'm actually able to contribute. I think there is at least with being able to ricochet and properly place the orbs. There's at least a little bit of skill there, but I don't. Yeah, it's just simple character that actually has an impact on the team and is useful. And again, just with my limited experience, it's fun to play a character where I can actually contribute and be useful because I'm just not great with actually aiming. So yeah, I like Moira. You bully me every time I choose Moira, but
No,
that's fine.
Moira is actually great for beginners, especially in support, because I'd recommend any support player doesn't play someone that just heal bots and only, you know, tries to support instead of, you know, taking out some members that are doing any damage inputs.
And then I'm gonna take for my last pick. All right, I screw up the name every time. It's I want to say Bridget. I know that's not right.
No.
Um, I intentionally screwed that
Bridget,
one up.
that's
But
like
how do you say it?
Bridglet.
I
That's
know a
Bridget
Bridget in real
Mendler. That's
life. Yes, I know it's not. How do you say her
Brigitte?
name? Brigitte. Yes,
Brigitte,
it's a
like
Brigit.
Brig.
Got it. Brigitta. There you
Yes,
go.
Brig isn't like locking someone up in the Sea of Thieves brig, and then
Yeah,
Ita,
like PETA, just
like
without
yeah,
the
like
P.
Peta.
Okay.
Yeah, Peta.
I apologize to anybody that's named Brigitte. I just could not for the
Be
life of me.
offended.
I continually screw it up. So, um, also, if your name's Brigitte, I think you're very old, probably. So,
Rest in peace,
another
Brigitte.
character you don't. I guess you kind of aim with like the chain launch or whatever it is, but it's a character that I do like playing Reinhardt. He didn't make my list, but I do like playing Reinhardt. But Brigitte gives me an opportunity to play more or less like a healing Reinhardt, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you get the it's not an axe. What do you call that?
Or what the hell is that called? It's like a
Yeah,
whip,
so
but it's not a whip.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. What's the oh, it's gonna bother me. It's not like a mace, right?
It's I think it's a
Or-
mace,
okay,
kind of
her
something
weapon.
like that. Her
Yes,
mace-like weapon.
it's more or less a melee weapon, and then she's a healer. She has the shield. Um, yeah, I don't know, just a fun character, and then she has a shield bash as well. And I just enjoy playing the character. I enjoy being able to like sneak around sometimes and actually kind of pick off, some a little bit lighter DPS or healers from the other team. Actually being able to tank a little bit of damage for a hot minute. By a hot minute, I mean a hot second. It's only got like 250 HP in that shield. But the character is actually fun, and I don't think Brigitte is that easy to use. Just I mean, yes, you're getting in there and just swinging, but to actually do it effectively and be useful and position yourself sometimes, I feel like is actually obnoxiously difficult. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that, and she's super easy. I don't know. You're more experienced than I am.
She's, I'd say medium. Some would say she's easy, but
I mean, when you
it
get
can
down
be
to what
rough
she's
not
doing,
just
it can
trying
be
to run in there
easy.
and dying.
But yeah, that's the part where I'm like, if you're playing effectively, I feel like it can be challenging. Where you gotta have some good map knowledge and
You
kind of
have to have
time it
some
up
game
right.
sense with her.
Yeah. But yeah, so actually, Moira and Brigitte are the two that I typically go for every time I'm playing support. Not that I don't ever hop onto like Lucio or Mercy because they're team favorites because they're easy in my opinion. Um, but yeah, so that was my last pick. Now you have one more pick, and it needs to be damage here. So
Yes. This is this is scary. I'm scared. I don't like being the last one. Also with it being damage. It's gonna be kind of a gross pick as well. I'm gonna say Widowmaker.
really,
Yes.
huh,
This is gross because I don't know a single person that like I'd actually know them that can play this character well. I've heard of people that can do it and can get much value out of her. Me nor anyone I know is one of those people. She's obviously a lot of snipers are hard, but for some reason she just seems to be the hardest to get more value out of as the team or with the team, just her abilities. But she was the first character I ever actually played in this game, so I have a soft spot to her. I don't know. I think she has a lot of cool skins. She's got good drip. I like her story. I know you haven't watched like any of the animated shorts, but
no, I'll do a binge at some point.
yeah. I don't know. I think she's quite iconic. It was either this or Tracer, but I don't know. I have a
I
soft
figured
spot to
Tracer
Widow
would have
because a
been on
lot of people
your.
hated her.
Yeah, that's fair.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
and,
don't like her, so I
Widow
feel
is
bad.
definitely another like one of those poster childs that like wasn't really a cover art poster child, but was like a Winston where it's like they're
Yeah,
in so much. So yeah, I mean it's a good pick. So the teams to run down, Justin, you have Diva, Winston, Genji, Widowmaker, Kiriko, and Ana. I have Roadhog, Orisa, Reaper, May, Moira, and Brigitte. So I think I have a bunch of basic characters, not gonna lie.
yeah. My team would
Like
kick
I
your
guess you
team's
did too.
ass,
So
respectively.
excuse me.
Yep.
I don't know how the meta would have gone there, so
Your team would actually probably win. You got a lot of really easy characters, but
I feel like you have some characters that you have two snipers on your team. So
yeah.
and you have Kiriko. This is also high skill, high reward. So
Yeah.
yeah. Those were our picks for Overwatch 2 characters. And I guess Overwatch 1 as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna close this out because it's just really late, and I also got to edit this and try to get it up. Probably, maybe you'll make it out tomorrow on Monday. If not, it'll make it out by Tuesday. But yeah, Overwatch 2. It's a fun game, but there are some questionable changes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing it though, because like I said, it is a fun game. And yeah, I don't know. Justin, what do you got?
Yeah, fun game. It's questionable changes, but
How
I don't know.
original.
Yep, very original. I like it. I'll stick with it, even though it's probably gonna die again sooner or later. But
Yeah,
fun
that's a
game.
good ending note. Do you think this game has longevity? Do you think it's gonna? I mean, Overwatch 1 was really popular through like what 2019, like a good 3 years after release. It was still super popular, and then roll queue is kind of what killed that, right? I mean, some of those changes.
Roll queue, they kind of slowed down on changes. Brigitte kind of killed the game for like a year and a half because they did not change her for a year and a half, even though she's broken. There's a lot of things that just broke the game. But I do think this game has some longevity. It's a possibility. I don't think they should have marketed it as a second game, more of just like a new patch or update. Like that's like Epic Games releasing next week. They're releasing Fortnite 2. And I don't think
Yeah,
there's much you can add on to it because Fortnite and most games now are just kind of, instead of getting constant sequels, they're just evolving and changing and not, trying to rebuild something from the ground up.
yeah, I
So,
understand the benefit of making it a two and marketing the two. And this is all to say the story mode has not come out yet, and if that
mm,
comes out this year, I look forward to being able to try that as well as part of this resolution this year. But yeah, I think the difference being though, for a lot of people, even like a major expansion change, etc., of a game isn't enough to get people to come back. But if it's a whole sequel, that's enough to get people to try the game, even if they've left or or new people will be like, oh, it's a brand new game I can jump on.
mm,
It was very misleading because it's really just not a new game. It's just like you said, it's a 2.0 of the first game. It's the next big version of it, but it's not a new game. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess my curiosity is, do they have? Didn't it take them like a long time to add heroes and maps and stuff in the first game? Like, wasn't it like a long time between each update?
yeah,
Yeah, that's part of my question here is with this battle pass system. Like, are they gonna be able to keep up? Not that I think a new hero and a new map is unheard of, but are they going to be able to keep up with the whole? All right, we're making the story mode, and we have a new map and a new character, and rebalancing every. I mean, how long's the season? 12 weeks, 3 months.
I think 3 months.
Yeah, so I'm just curious if that's a little bit. I assume that's faster than the first game, right? It was more than every three
Yeah, it
months.
was like 6 months the first game originally. They changed it at the end of the first game, but that's not an Overwatch 2 change.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they'll be able to keep up with it. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm gonna try to keep up with it though, because again, I'm having fun. It's part of the challenge. I'm also just curious. I don't know if you know this. Apparently, Blizzard's working on like a really big survival game right now.
Hmm.
They've been pouring a lot of their developers into that. Don't know anything about it. It's just a Blizzard-made like survival game. I'm not even sure what. Excuse me. Had a brief. We have those like Andes mints around. Had a brief mini burp there. Uh,
Gross.
yeah, Blizzard's pouring a lot of developers into this survival game. I have no idea what that looks like. I don't even know what it's going to be, what to compare it to. Like if that's like a Minecraft or like a Rust or something or an Ark. I really have no idea if it's going to be a new game, if it's going to be like in the Warcraft universe. No idea. But they're pouring a lot of development into that, so I'm curious if I can't imagine the Overwatch team is going to be the same as the team working on that. But in recent time, Blizzard's pulled developers on projects that they were quote unquote dedicated to and just kind of falling apart. So I'm just curious. But with that, it's late. I'm gonna go to bed. You're probably not going to bed actually, but
Oh,
I'm gonna go to bed. And yeah, so thank you for me again, and then for you because I know you're gonna probably make yourself listen to this.
yes.
But thank you for listening. If anybody else did or went back later when we're rich and famous to
Totally.
yep, to listen to our Overwatch 2 characters when the game died in
Like next week.
April of 2023. Stopped after season 3. It was a shame. Um, that's my bold prediction. That's not actually. I really hope this game doesn't stop after season 3. Regardless, though, thank you for listening. Stuff down. Thank you for listening. And Gibby.
Bye, gamers.